I really was clear about writing my goals down when I went to Atlantic City. Like, that's why I didn't get deterred by the $12 cents. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it takes, and then in 5 years, this is where I expect to be. I expect to be making this salary by year one, be a chef of multiple concepts by year two. It kind of happened with Be Our Guest. I was opening up other restaurants and doing this. And I stated my income that I wanted, and I got to that point. So like once I got to being on Hell's Kitchen and again like I'm giving you a very abbreviated story. Like I was really getting some serious chops. Like really like spending time in the kitchen, spending time reading business books. Because at this point in time now I'm actually a boss. I'm a leader of a kitchen. I'm not just a guy on a station. I'm actually like learning how to like talk to people and sit in my at a boardroom meeting and talk to the director of food and beverage at my hotel or my corporate executive chef and like how to conduct myself.
Yeah. It's quite the evolution too, right? Yeah. I mean, because there's different sides of that business, and it's all different.
Exactly. So, I went out and worked with Gordon Ramsay on Hell's Kitchen for 4 seasons, and it was hard. I'd have to live out there, and I'd come back and forth, and I'd consult here and there. But the last time, this would have been 2013 was the last time I did a Hell's Kitchen, or was it 2014? And I got back, and I was like, I really hate. Now I have 3 kids. A wife, and I hate leaving them and then coming back and trying to run around and scramble. So I'm like, I got to get my own restaurant. Like now is the time. I got some good exposure, like a multitude of experience, like and just different things that I can piece together. So I started just doing pop-up dinners. And a pop-up dinner, if you're unclear what that is, it's basically you're hosted in a kind of like this, right? Like a kitchen that you can just do whatever you want out of it and try a concept. So I did that at my friend Neely's place, Heirloom Kitchen in Old Bridge, and people liked the food and there was a little buzz going around. So there's these guys opening up a beer garden in Asbury called the Asbury Fest Hall and Beer Garden, and they wanted to do a seafood restaurant as well. They heard about me. I walked in there and said, "Hey guys, I would love to partner with you on this." And then it kind of got worked into that I'd help them open the beer garden. That kind of introduced me to a lot of business partners and investors and just future people that would be very paramount in my life. They ultimately wanted to get out. My time had lapsed at the Asbury Beer Garden, and then they wanted to get out of the Bonnie. So I went to the investors and said, "Hey, I really think I could run this thing on my own. I basically have been, doing it. And it's my concept." So I took it over, and that was 2016.
So same owners, both restaurants. You went in and basically bought your partners out of the Bonnie Road?
So it's kind of like an investing thing, right? Like I get people to invest in me. Like I have some of my own money in there as well, but when you're you go to investors and you work out a deal where they get their money back and things like that.
So that restaurant was opened?
It was. So I was the chef partner originally at the Bonnie Reed, and my original partners, they wanted to go do some other projects, so I basically went to my current investors and said that, I think we should buy them out. And then I kind of worked out a better equity deal with me. That's another thing about successful. It's got to be a good deal for everybody. Mm-hmm. You can't be a pig. You can't be greedy. You got to really, look out for other people. And then it does come back. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
So it was a good deal for them, and it was a good deal for me. And we've just had a tremendous amount of success at the Bonnie. It's an
and how long you been open
story. Now? We're going into our 5th year.
Awesome.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, and as a restaurant, that's it's hard, and seafood's hard. Nobody was touching seafood for the longest time.
Sure.
And
this guy will touch it. He loves that seafood towel.
Oh my god!
I don't mean in terms of the customer. I mean in terms of like actual operators, because it's a highly perishable product. It's super expensive, and you can mess it up very easily. So that's what we do.
It's a hard concept.
What's your specialty dish there?
That's the thing. Like, it's so simple. Like, there's no like it's fish and chips, it's lobster rolls, it's chowder.
There has to be something you're passionate about.
But what I tell everybody is like, let's be known for just being awesome at everyday things.
Right.
So we're known for our linguine and clams. We use imported pasta from Italy. We use grass-fed butter for the sauce. We make this like ridiculous clam broth with fennel and Pernod and white wine.
Take it easy, he's salivating.
I know, right? I was gonna say,
clam sauce. That's my dish, man. I love that.
But yeah.
Meanwhile, my wife is making reservations as she's hearing this, so it's good.
So that's my story. I know it was kind of long.
So amazing story, right? And so the first show we kind of all went through our own stories, and so a lot to kind of go through there. Yeah. So let's rewind, like we kind of usually do, right? And talk about success principles Like, what is going to separate you from getting from your first failed restaurant to Bonnie Reed versus the guy who opens, fails, and doesn't do anything with it?
Yeah.
Right? Because I think we've all had that experience where we had to make that choice of, am I going to press on and let this define me, or am I going to get over it and learn from it, create some wisdom from it, and then continue on? So what do you think it was in your mind that you didn't allow the first failure to define your career?
Yeah. If you're going to do great things, you're going to, what is the expression? If you're going to cut lumber, you're going to make some sawdust. Like, it is what it is, and it's hard. It's hard not to take it personally, but you have to go in knowing that failure is a 100% part of the process. Like, it's unavoidable. So I think I told myself that early on. Even though it was hard, I knew that very early on, and I knew it wasn't going to define me.
It's setting the proper expectations and knowing that, hey, I get knocked down, I just get back up.
Yeah.
Keep pushing.
We've heard all the things, we've heard all the cliche statements about it, but it's so profound and so true.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people just, like, they take it personally. They think that they did something wrong, and they just don't understand that, like, things don't always go the way you want them to.
Yeah. Every successful person I know has gotten kicked in the teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes without question.
Yeah.
My favorite quote is Calvin Coolidge. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is filled with educated derelicts. Yeah. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The most successful people I know are not the smartest guys. They're not the wealthiest guys. The most successful people I know are the people that just have no quit in them.
Yeah.
And that's it. And all right, so that's fantastic success principle number one. You mentioned this before, mentors.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people come to me. So I'm in real estate. We haven't really gotten to talk a little bit about my story, but so these guys are owners, operators of residential real estate. I do commercial real estate investing. Constantly when we speak or when we go out to these networking events, stuff like that, people always come up to me and go, will you mentor us, right? Can you show me what you did? So I'd like to have an open conversation about what's it look like when you actually seek out a mentor. How do you do it, right? What's the right way to go after a mentor?
Yeah.
And how do you add value to them? Because that's what I found. Like, the people that have helped me out, I didn't just go knocking on their door and say, hey, gimme. Right? I want to know, like, so how was that for you when you said, hey, I need to find somebody that's going to guide me in this? What was it about them that drew you to them?
Yeah.
And then how did you approach those guys to get them into a place where they would mentor you?
Well, it's kind of easy. You pick the mentor and say, who's got the results that I want? Like, who is living their life the way I see it?
Now, business and personal, right?
100%. 100%. Like, who is kicking ass in life? Like, what's the expression? You're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most.
Yeah.
Like, in my career, like, that's what I wanted to be. Like, I didn't want to work for the cocaine addicted alcoholic on his third wife chef. The guy I picked, and I picked many chefs, but like specifically, I'm talking about Anthony. This guy was a triathlete. He was in shape. He was sharp as a tack. He was all business. His resume spoke for himself. His accolades spoke for themselves. And I'm like, well, whatever I have to do to get in the door, if I have to work the fryer for the summer, making $12.57 an hour, I want to figure out what his mindset is. Like, what's his routine look like? Yeah. How does he sharpen his knives? And any opportunity I had to sit there and over his shoulder, and again, to your point, it's also very true. Like, he has a business to run, a kitchen to run. He's not just there to make James Avery a better chef. So you have to provide value for them. Drew Brees says it. Every man needs a mentor and an apprentice. So they want to pass on that knowledge, people. Mm-hmm. You just have to be willing to take it and shut up